welcome back, Valley Free Radio listeners. And I want to say welcome to our Northampton Community Television audience. This is Rick Haggerty, Kickin' It For Peace, Culture, and Education, airing each Sunday morning at valleyfreeradio.org, 103.3 FM, Northampton. And I'm so happy to have our guest this morning, and that is Price Armstrong. How are you this morning, Price?
Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Very glad to be here.
All right, and Price is our guest. He's here to talk about the River Roll and Stroll happening Sunday, May 6th. And it's an ephemeral street festival where they're going to shut down the Route 116 bridge between Holyoke and South Hadley for a few hours on Sunday afternoon. And that is on May 6th, 11 to 3. And it's filled with bicycles, music, art, cultural activities, food trucks, and so much more. We're so that is like crazy. I mean, that's tell us about that. How did you? Now, this is the second annual event, correct?
Yes, this is the second year that it's taken place, and yeah, I mean, it's been a ton of work, but it's a labor of love. That's for sure. You know, we're really looking forward to May 6th rolling around. Last year we had about 2,000 people. We're expecting it's only going to get bigger as you know, as more people hear about it, as you know, people hear about it on the radio show. You know, word spreads. So you know, like you said, there are going to be food trucks. There are going to be musical acts. We're really excited. Mr. G is going to be there. He's a winner of the Latin Grammys for Best Kids Album, so we're looking at this as a really great family-friendly, fun event. And best of all, it's totally free except for the food. You know, bring a picnic or, you know, spend some money on local food trucks, but otherwise it's totally free. The face painting, bubbles, chalk art, yoga, hula hooping. You know, we're really looking forward to you know, having a great fun event. Outstanding.
Now, technically, this is called the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Bridge. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah,
and in fact, last year we rededicated the bridge. I think. So we had several veterans groups come down. They spoke. They rededicated it as the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Bridge. They unveiled a new sign. The Minutemen militia came and fired off a volley. And this was so picturesque. A bald eagle actually flew overhead as they were doing the rededication ceremony.
That's great.
And actually, I mean, if I could add, in addition to all of the really fun stuff that's going on, the most exciting thing for me, so I'm a Holyoke resident, is I go jogging over the 116 bridge pretty frequently. It's on my route. And the view of the river and the dam and Mount Tom in the background, and then you've got the Holyoke skyline and then South Hadley on the right, and it's beautiful. I mean, it's just sort of like an unparalleled view. You know, ignoring all of the fun stuff that's going on around you.
Great setting for all that to happen.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So now folks can cycle in, you know, get in there, and
that's a great
question.
Way
to go, right?
Yeah. The first question actually just was talking about this event at the South Hadley Senior Center, and the first question that came up is, well, what's the parking situation? So to talk a little bit about that, we have ADA parking on the South Hadley side. There are some ADA spots on Pleasant Street and at the police station, which is just right around the corner, and then there's ample street parking all around, although we really encourage you to walk down, to bike down. The X90A is the PVTA bus route that'll get you closest to the bridge, because you know, this is about people. You said we're closing down the bridge, and that's also the term that I use, but I also think of it as we're really opening up the bridge to see what is it like when this public space is really reserved for people, for the public, you know, for people who are on 2 feet, for people who are on 2 wheels, you know, when it's a really people-friendly space and not just a space that people zip across going 35, 40 miles an hour to get where they're going. So I think of it as really opening up the bridge.
Yeah, nice.
In a way.
Nice, yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean, these community events really make, just, you know, bring us together. And, you know, we were talking a lot about the tragedies in communities and, you know, people being pulled together, but, you know, these fun things and getting people out, and the weather, you know, hopefully the weather would be great, but
we've put in the paperwork. It's definitely going to be 65 degrees and sunny. We put that paperwork in months ago.
Well, it's been a little touch and go, but we're talking, just a couple of weeks from now.
Yeah.
So hopefully, yeah.
And it's warming up. It's going to be 60 today. So it's only going to get better.
It's only going to get better. Thank goodness. I know it's been even snowy not that long ago, right? I mean, my fiance and I were down in New York, but was there snow here? Or at least I know.
We got
right
some
here.
snow. Although I would say if it snows on May 6th and this turns into a winter festival street fair, that could be very unique in and of itself.
That is
build some snowmans on the 116 bridge, but that's not going to happen. I can guarantee you.
Right. That is very cool. So if you just tuned in, we're speaking with Bryce Armstrong. And he is one of the coordinators for the River Roll and Stroll happening Sunday, May 6th. And that is from 11 to 3, where the Route 116 bridge between Holyoke and South Hadley is being shut down for a few hours on Sunday afternoon for a whole lot of fun. So we're hoping people will really get out there. Now, tell us about shutting down a route, a bridge in Massachusetts. What's the deal with that? How many hoops do you have to jump through to make that happen?
Well, I'll tell you, it's a lot easier the second time around.
Right. The second year, right?
Yeah. So when I've been talking about this event, I've been saying this is a one-of-a-kind event. This is a unique event, and a lot of people use that term, one-of-a-kind, special, unique, and it's sort of hyperbolic. But this is literally the only time MassDOT has let anyone shut down a bridge to traffic for a street festival. Shutting down any roadway is in and of itself a fairly big undertaking because you have to do detours, you have to have police details at intersections. Freight management is a big thing because in Holyoke, there are all of these train tracks and bridges in that area. So figuring out where do the big trucks go. So, I mean, there are a lot of logistics surrounding that. But then you add the complexity of being on a bridge. Bringing thousands of people to a bridge and maintaining a safe, welcoming environment.
Yeah, totally.
So on the, on the one hand, it's beautiful, unparalleled views. Every time I go over that bridge, I'm just like, of course, there's going to be a street festival here. But we've had to put together a very thorough safety management plan. There's going to be fairly significant police and fire presence, EMTs. I mean, we've really just, of course, we've had to put barricades at each entrance of the bridge just to make sure that no vehicles are coming onto the bridge under any circumstances because, again, there are going to be, in fact, this year we're bringing dump trucks on either end of the bridge just to really make sure that this is a people-only event. So it's been a tremendous amount of coordination between the organizers and MassDOT, and I really have to send a big thank you to the staff at District 2. That's the MassDOT district here, located in Northampton. They've been great. Laura Hansen is the bicycle and pedestrian point person. She's been amazing, really supportive. We've had to go through a very thorough permitting process, but it's not. I would put it more as they want to make sure that this event is as safe and successful as possible, and they've been really supporting us the whole way. So it's a significant undertaking, and this is even coming from somebody who works as a professional in the transportation field. So I know my way around MassDOT and transportation policy and considerations, and it's still really complicated for me. But like I said, it's a labor of love, and we've got all of the details down. At this point, it's just making sure that all of the volunteers show up, all of the bands and band equipment is put in place.
Sure.
And, just the last minute things to do in the last 2 weeks. So.
Wow, very cool. Now, are you still looking for volunteers? Because I see there's a call for volunteers.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, and they can go. They can sign up online. Is that right?
Yeah, there's a button on our website, rollandstroll.org. That'll take you to a sign up form for our volunteer page, or you can just email riverrollandstroll@gmail.com. And then that'll come to the organizers and we'll get you signed up. Yeah, we really depend on volunteers. That's been a key part of the permit from MassDOT is that we're looking at like 75 volunteers for the full day to make sure that there's no roughhousing near the railings, to make sure that the activities are being facilitated. And so that's a major undertaking and piece of the coordination in and of itself, is just getting volunteers on the bridge.
All right, great. So go to Roll and Stroll, andastroll.org, and there's a sign up there. So yeah, get involved, and you can just go and have a good time, or you can get involved as well. So there's a lot of music going on there, and you said Mr. G, who is a Latin Grammy Award winner, teams up with dozens of drummers and dancers to invigorate his samba-inspired songs. And what about the Holyoke High Schools? You want to talk about those guys, the viral wordsmith?
Yeah, I wasn't involved in the music coordination piece,
Okay.
but I do know that. So are you referring to Roche?
The YouTube, Roche, right. Hip Hop Dance Crew, Craze Phase, and the Flash Mob,
yep,
and all that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
around.
Roche is a local Holyoke rapper, and we're really excited to have him come down. We actually, we were talking with a sponsor, and they were really excited to throw their support behind Roche as a One Holyoke CDC. They're like, oh yeah, Roche, I love him. Get him down there. So I mean, this has been a really key part of the event. Is obviously Holyoke is very diverse, South Hadley as well, in the South Hadley Falls area, and we really want this event to reflect the diversity of the two communities. Holyoke's about 50% Latino, and this event wouldn't make any sense if we didn't have music from the Latino community. So even better that it's a local Holyoke artist.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And I see that Somerville's Desperate Measures Street Band will be there, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Good.
Yeah, we're going to have a number of street bands and marching bands. And actually, one of the really interesting aspects that's new this year about the music is Laudable Productions. We brought them on board this year, and they've been great. And they are really last year was very in place. There was no movement. And this year, the bands, they would play in their zone, and then they would close up. Yeah. This year, they've envisioned this sort of movement toward the center. So the bands are going to actually march and move toward the center. And so we're really looking forward to that new sort of pull, that draw toward the center stage.
Outstanding. And the high school marching bands, community bands from both sides of the river will converge to form a huge ensemble, 200 musicians strong, playing a rousing Irish anthem above the swirling current. Wow, that sounds really great if you like music. And then there's a lot of art and activities as well. And I do want to tell folks, remind them that they're listening to Valley Free Radio WXOJ-103.3 FM Northampton, streaming online at valleyfreeradio.org. So lots of activities happening at that event as well. And we talked about volunteering. So and so there's different time slots. Basically, people can do 10:30 to 11:30 and so on, just an hour at a time. So
or 2 or 3 hours, or all day. All day would be even better.
Yeah, can do what you want. And then you mentioned face painting and other fun stuff. And also there are organizations that can either underwrite and either corporate or community sponsors as well, because the money is obviously paying for it all. And they can do that at rollandstroll.org, right? So that's going to be important. And so now let's take a short break. All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to go back to a little bit of music and give folks a chance to go to valleyfreeradio.org and make their donations, since this is our spring fund drive. They can also give us a call right here at 413-585-1033, 413-585-1033. And so let's give folks a moment to do that. And we will be right back. And we're going to go back to a little bit of music And it's Carolyn Walker, local musician and favorite of Kickin' It For Peace, Culture, and Education. So give us a call, 413-585-1033 during this all-important spring fun drive at Valley Free Radio. We'll be right back.
Not to dance, no reason not to laugh, no reason not to sing again, no reason not to give, no reason not to take what you want for your own sake, no reason not to cry, no reason not to ask why when you hear goodbye. Don't you wanna be
All right, and we are back. All right. So, if you just tuned in, this is Rick Haggerty, Kicking It for Peace, Culture, and Education. And we're here with Price Armstrong. Price is with the River Roll and Stroll happening May 6th, 11 to 3. The Ephemeral Street Festival, that is the Route 116 bridge between Holyoke and South Hadley, is being shut down May 6th for a lot of fun, music, art, activities, food trucks, and more. And we were going to talk, we're going to kick it off to start talking a little bit about the sponsors of the events, right?
Yeah. So as Rick, as you were saying earlier, this event depends crucially on the sponsors from both communities and actually around the valley. We've got a number of sponsors. E-Ink is a big one from South Hadley. People's Bank, Holyoke Community College, Republic Services. They're actually handling all of the trash and waste disposal, so that's a really big one. The People's Pint. I know I'm leaving off a few because I couldn't pull them up on my phone, but we've just got a number of sponsors who are real, and that even leaves off a lot of individual donors from both South Hadley and Holyoke, and it's just it's so important to having this event because, as I was saying earlier, this event is totally free with the exception of the food trucks, and that was really important to us because on both ends of the bridge, we have what are called environmental justice communities, very low-income communities, and we want to make this event as accessible and fun and inclusive as possible. And the money part is just like such a crucial component of that, to really including the families and households in the flats of Holyoke and in the South Hadley Falls. Yeah,
totally. It's, I've worked in Holyoke. And my son went to school in South Hadley, to PVPA, and I know the communities are very different. It's different demographics there, and it's so important to bring folks together this way. I'm just putting it in my calendar right now. I want to make sure it sounds like a lot of fun. So tell me how you got involved in this and how it came about. Let's talk about the origin of this.
Yeah, sure. So as I, as I mentioned, I'm a Holyoke resident. So I'm also the vice chair of the Holyoke Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee. So the chair, Sean Condon, a couple of years ago, well, yeah, it was almost exactly 2 years ago, came to me and he was like, I have this idea. Well, first he had a really grand idea, which we'll talk about in a second, but his very specific idea was, could we connect a park-to-park event? Connect up, there's a park on the Connecticut River in South Hadley, close down the streets that lead across the bridge, and then connect to, I forget if he wanted to go to Pulaski Park, or it was another park in Holyoke. So he had this idea for what's called an open streets event, or and actually this has its roots in Latin America. It's called a cyclovia, where you close down the event. You close down the streets for an event that's just you flood people onto these streets and you show people this is what streets can look like when they're for people and not for cars. And it's a really compelling,
awesome,
powerful, tangible example of like what our public spaces could be if they're for the public. So then he started talking with Marion Millard of the South Hadley Bicycle and Pedestrian Committee, and so that got the conversation going. And then it actually just sort of snowballed. Before we knew it, we had the funding and an event, and I have to give massive credit to Marianne, who unfortunately couldn't be on the committee this year, but last year she was just a force of nature, putting this MassDOT permit together. And so that was sort of and so I got involved by my involvement on the committee. But also one other aspect is this idea of, so why the bridge? The bridge, I mean, it's a really powerful symbol of bringing people together. And so closing down the bridge to traffic, but bringing people to the bridge, it was really a way of celebrating the shared history of South Hadley and Holyoke. That was really one of the key selling points. I majored in history in college, so that was also a really compelling thing for me.
Yeah.
South Hadley had the first navigable canal in North America. Holyoke had, took that idea and ran with it. Yeah,
awesome.
Actually, Robert Comeau has a canal tour coming up where I went last year, and he shows you the remnants of that first canal that boats were on.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah, and of course now,
really cool thing.
Holyoke is like Venice of the Pioneer Valley or whatever. We've got canals coming out, going everywhere. South Hadley back in the day was an industrial center, again, because of the canal, but then it moved across the river to Holyoke, and it's saying its motto is Industria et Copia, plenty and industry. So, Holyoke is an industrial town. So there's just so much shared history between the two, and the bridge is both literally and now sort of like metaphorically what unites those two communities.
Yeah. I'm noticing the 1881 map showing Holyoke and South Hadley here on your that's on your Facebook page. I love these historical maps, and I guess before that time the scene was the other way around, with South Hadley industrialized and Holyoke farmland. So there was kind of a shift in the what was driving commerce, and income there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then actually, if you fast forward, so one of the things that I've found really interesting since moving to Holyoke is the number of families, the people that I talk to, who say like, oh yeah, I was born in Holyoke, but then we moved to South Hadley, but now I'm back in Holyoke, or vice versa. There's just so much ebb and flow between the two communities. We share so many familial and friendship bonds, and so I really see this event as this great uniting event between the two communities that just have so much shared history.
Fantastic. And I see El Guanaco from South Hadley, Bruiser's Barbecue, Corsello Butcheria, Holyoke Hummus Company, Bistro Bus, Murphy's Pub, and keep cool with Crooked Stick Pops and Chill Out. So, some really good food down there.
Yeah. I'm a vegetarian, so I'm partial to Holyoke Hummus Company.
Nice. I know. Yeah, me too.
They've got excellent. Their food truck, the Great Garbanzo Bean, has some very excellent falafel. But it's all going to be very great food. That was the one complaint that we got last year, is we didn't have
enough
food.
veggies.
No, not enough food trucks.
Oh, really?
So last year we only had 2 food trucks, and now we've increased it to 7 or maybe 8.
Excellent.
I think we have 7 confirmed.
Yeah.
So food should not be an issue. Again, you're encouraged to bring a picnic or whatever, although there is a no cooler policy. That was one of the...
Okay.
So that's actually something I should mention. There are a few things that you can't do on the bridge.
Yeah, okay, good. Yep.
One is it's no alcohol, no smoking. Another is no coolers, and we're also asking only service animals. Last year we had some issues with dogs not getting along, so we're just asking service animals only. But other than that, it's sort of come down, do your thing. You could just... I'm planning on just running around like a madman, I'm sure, trying to coordinate all the volunteers. Yeah. But if I were attending, I would just want to watch the water flow over the dam and, the birds fly overhead and the sun shine on Mount Tom.
I'm looking at pictures from last year. It's just a great expanse. I mean, it's a big area. It's not like a small bridge. I mean, there's plenty of space. Yeah.
The bridge is about a quarter of a mile long. We are...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, that was my question. How long? Yeah.
Yeah. We're...
wow, look at that.
We're not hurting for space. That's for sure. And that's one of the reasons why we can have so many musical groups playing on the bridge, even simultaneously, is that there's just so much space between the two of them. Between the different zones that we've split it up. So the sound doesn't really conflict... with one band does not conflict with another.
Sure.
Yeah. Although, again, that makes it a little bit more logistically complicated only because there's so much more bridge to monitor. But that said, we've got plenty of volunteers.
I've got Klezimir playing in the background. I don't think you can hear it, but because the mics are on. If you put headphones on, you can hear it. But that's from last year. Yeah, a little clip from those guys.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Actually, I have family. My wife's cousin is in a klezmer band. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah,
nice.
So that's nice to hear.
Yeah, some really good tunes there. Okay, so we're just about out of time. But again, I want to and thanks for coming in. I'm so happy to promote this. Bryce Armstrong here talking about the River Roll Stroll happening Sunday, May 6th. It's just like 11 to 3, just a really fun community thing to do, And, those of us from Northampton, Amherst, we're always traveling through there. I mean, I'm always going through there. When as I mentioned, my son was down at PVPA. I took the bridge all the time, to get over there. And we're going through close by on 91, and it's really important to, I do a lot of stuff in Holyoke off and on as a teacher, professional development down there. I've taken courses at the Holyoke High School and whatnot. I've worked in Holyoke over the years. So it's a great space and a great opportunity to be involved in a huge community event.
Yeah. We welcome everyone from the valley or beyond. We think of this as a regional and because it's so one of a kind. Who knows? Statewide event. If you want to come see a one of a kind thing, come down to the 116 Bridge on May 6th.
Yes, fantastic. And let's see, I've got some other music. There we go. Little snippets. And that's more of the music that you might find at the River Roll and Stroll happening Sunday, May 6th. So we're just about out of time. Anything you'd like to close with? And Price, thank you so much for coming on to talk to us about this. It's been fantastic having you.
Yeah.
How would you like to close?
Well, I mean, I guess I'll just close by saying thank you. And to everybody who's listening, please, again, come on down. It's going to be, a great event. It's going to be a lot of fun. Get some food, listen to some music, get your face painted, and, just like take in the beautiful views of the river. It's all about the river and and being outside and having like this public space truly for the public.
Absolutely. So mark your calendar, folks. Sunday, May 6th, 11 to 3. Get down there, the Route 116 Bridge, for tons of fun. And thank you so much, Price, for coming on the air with us today.
Yeah, thank you.
It's a pleasure having you. And see if I can get the family together. And kids. I see kids all over the place down there, right? Kids are absolutely welcome. Just leave your dog at home and your cooler at home. And looks like a great time.
Yeah.
All right, man. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
All right. And I want to say thank you to our Northampton Community Television audience. It's always great to have you on board. Again, Rick Haggerty, Kickin It For Peace, Culture, and Education, airing each Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. at 103.3 FM Northampton, streaming online at valleyfreeradio.org.